Hi everyone, welcome to MakerFun powered by Brilliant Labs. I'm Nellie, and I'm so glad you could be here today. When you go outside, do you see the sky, the clouds, the buildings? What else do you see? How about the multitudes of communities thriving everywhere? These ecosystems are made of plants, animals, and other organisms that live together and depend on each other. They eat and grow and compete and depend on each other in a kind of delicate balance. In fact, humans are part of a giant ecosystem, and we depend on it to live. We haven't always done a great job of helping it stay in balance. We've thrown out a lot of plastic, cut down a lot of trees, and spilled a lot of pollution. Some of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are all about this big ecosystem and what we can do to help it. We have goals to take care of our forests, wetlands, and oceans, and to try not to do more hurt to the ecosystem, like using clean energy and fighting climate change. Today, we'll be exploring the ecosystems all around us in nature. From our own backyards and windowsills to beaches, rivers, and forests, we can explore, innovate, and make a difference. Remember, as you make along with us, if you see this symbol, it means you need either help or supervision from a grown-up. Sometimes things can be a little dangerous. When you see one of these symbols, it means we're talking about one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. You can check them out at un.org. Let's check in with Gracie and Emily to see what they're up to in their backyard ecosystem.
Hi again everyone, Gracie here. My family and I just love being outdoors and enjoying nature. For the past few weeks now, we've taken this to the next level and we've been camping in the backyard. It's been an awesome experience for us being able to sleep in the fresh air every day and listen to the sounds of nature. One of the best things in all of this is waking up to the sounds of the many birds in our neighborhood. I never noticed how many birds live in our area and visit our backyard. I've been able to watch them as they come and go and thought it would be great to make a small bird feeder so that they would always have food when they come by. Now we just gotta hang this to a tree and let the birds enjoy their snack. Thanks for joining us everyone. Happy birding and stay brilliant.
My backyard needs one of those. I have blue jays, cardinals, sparrows, goldfinches, chickadees, and sometimes I feel like they're looking for a snack. What kind of birds can you see out your window? Let's go visit Kate. She's giving back to the forest by planting a tree. Kate is so lucky to have a forest so near her house that she can just walk there. Karen is lucky too. She gets to visit a beach in PEI. And then Gary's going to show us how to make a piece of art he made using things he found on his beach in Nova Scotia.
Hi everybody, for today's project I'm doing a little bit of arts and crafts with what I found at the beach and a little bit of science. So when I went to the beach I was looking for some objects that would be interesting, and I was disappointed at first. There was no seashells or anything, but I did find sea sponge, which are really fascinating. They're actually not a plant, they're an animal, and there's even carnivorous types of these that eat little tiny seashells and mollusks that go into the sponge. They have a method of filtering them. So these sea sponges are really neat, and I wanted to build maybe like a little diorama of a coral reef, but we don't have a lot of hard corals around here. In Atlantic Canada, scientists and the Canadian government did a survey in the 90s and early 2000s. 74% of our coral species in Atlantic Canada are soft corals. And sponges aren't really the same thing as coral. They're a different species entirely. But I thought they would let me do a little bit of a neat display of a coral reef in terms of a craft here. So what I'm going to do is I've put in some blue construction paper in just my dollar store frame, but you could use construction paper or any other material. And I'm just going to lay them out so it looks like a little coral reef exhibit. And then I put in the yellow to represent the sunshine coming onto the ocean. So I'm just going to lay these out, as you can see, and there's a bunch of different kinds. So it can get very interesting if you want to start taking photos. And you can ID these different species online at websites like iNaturalist is a really good one. National Geographic has some identification projects, and there's tons of great ones online. So I'm just going to lay these out so that it looks like a little coral reef. The sponges are neat because they almost have a bonsai tree look to them, artistic-wise. This is a little piece of driftwood that you'd find on any beach. And the other thing is the different sponges will have different colors and textures, so it makes for really neat artwork that way. What I want to do is use this one as the base of a tree. And this is a little piece of dried up Irish moss that used to be harvested. It still is in Nova Scotia, but it used to be very widely to make agricultural products and products that go into ice cream, things like that. So I'm going to put that little Irish moss piece on the top of this piece of sponge so it looks like a little tree or a couple of species that might be growing on a coral reef. And add in a few other pieces. I also have some driftwood. You're going to find a lot of that on Atlantic Canada beaches. It could be from wood that was in our forest. It could be from an old shipwreck, from history. You never really know. Sometimes you can find some clues. So I'm going to put that little piece of driftwood in by the piece over here. And maybe this is just some sea grass or a species of straw that was growing down there. So we're going to put these in like this. Oh, we have another color here in texture, so we're going to add that in. This is another interesting one, and I would have to do some Googling to figure out which one it is. It's almost like paper. And of course, our soft corals and our sponges that grow around here, especially the soft corals, Atlantic Canadian ones, are often really cool colors like purples and pinks and mauves. Just happens to be the species that grow around here. So there you have it. I'm going to actually glue that together permanently, so with a glue stick or a glue gun, or even you could even use some Play-Doh in behind the objects to kind of stick them in there for the display. But then I have a nice little exhibit that looks like a coral reef or a sponge reef, and it's something local. So these are just old sponges that I found on the beach that have been washed up. if they were living, they actually grow in very deep water. So they'd be on an ocean floor or an ocean shelf off one of our areas here in Atlantic Canada. And here we have my final product. So I've added in a couple of other pieces of blue construction paper above the glass, which is going to kind of give it that 3D effect, because my other piece of blue construction paper down here for the underwater is actually under the glass. So it's actually going to give it a little bit of a different glare. But you could do that with a dollar store frame with plastic in it, or almost any material, or even without the glass or the plastic. And then I've just added these wavy pieces of construction paper to give it that ocean artsy effect at the top. So that one is complete. Now my next project is really neat because you can do this with almost any medium that you find at the beach. So maybe you're into collecting shark's teeth and you want to build a model shark using those shark's teeth. So for today, I'm going to use seashells. And we have a golden rule I want to talk to you about when you're collecting seashells at the beach. And that's that you want to make sure that the seashells aren't alive. So when you turn the seashells over, if they are, you're going to find a creature coming out of the seashell. Just like the way you'd see a snail, when a snail is moving on the ground like this. So you want to make sure when you find a seashell on the beach that it's either broken, like this one, if you're going to use it for arts and crafts, but you don't want to take a seashell off the beach that has something living inside. Those we leave on the beach so they can continue on and grow. But the leftover ones, so this is an old shell from a seashell that used to have mollusk or a gastropod living inside. Those can be really nice to do crafts with. So what I've done is a really neat technique here. What you do is you take your favorite object. It could be a robot, a sea creature that you like. I've done a map of Nova Scotia. So I just did a trace of the map of Nova Scotia and cut that out so that I have a guide for filling it in with my natural material. Again, my natural material could be moss from nature, it could be flower petals, it could be seashells from the beach like I'm doing today. And then what you're going to do is almost make a puzzle out of your project. So I want to actually fill in this Nova Scotia map using these seashells. And it's nice to have a bunch of different shapes no matter what you're using, or at least sizes of the material, so that you can actually fill in your map. So I'm going to use these seashells and see how closely I can get that map covered. Now, these big ones that you see here are actually a northern moon snail. It's the tops off of a moon snail that come locally from Barrington, Nova Scotia. So we're just going to continue on here, just like a puzzle, no matter what you're using. So we're just going to keep filling in. That little point will cover that part of the map. Now, of course, after we do this together, I'm going to go back with glue. You want to kind of lay everything out first so you know the project is going to come out the way you want it to. And there you have it. So we have our completed Nova Scotia map. Now, I can glue these down again with a glue gun or some putty. There's lots of different ways and methods you could do that, but this is just to give you a little bit of an inspiration to get started.
Thanks, Gary. I think I have some things I've collected that I might be able to use. One of the ecosystems that we really depend on, but that doesn't get much love, is wetlands. Let's see what we can learn about them from Lauren.
This is a swamp. Swamps are a type of wetland, which is an area of land that is wet or filled with water. What makes swamps special is the fact that trees grow there. Swamps can often be found near rivers and lakes and are home to lots of different plants and animals. Swamps are really important to the environment because they help filter water, they protect the land from floods, and their fast-growing plants trap carbon, which can be harmful to the environment. For a long time, swamps weren't thought of as being important and were often destroyed by flooding or draining. That makes it even more important to appreciate just how beautiful and helpful wetlands are, and to respect the things that live there. Swamps are a ton of fun to explore, but it can be a little tricky to get a good look at what's going on below the water without disrupting the plants and animals living there. That's why we're going to be making an aquascope. To make your own, you'll need a plastic container. Mine is clear, but it doesn't have to be. You'll also need tape, scissors, an elastic band, and plastic wrap. First, cut the bottom out of your container. Next, cover the open area with a layer of plastic wrap and secure it with a rubber band. Do your best to make sure there are no folds or wrinkles in the plastic covering the opening, because this is what you'll be looking through. You can stop here, but I added duct tape around the edge of the plastic wrap to make it extra secure. This aquascope will allow you to explore what's under the water without having to get in yourself. That way, you can appreciate the swamp while being respectful of the things that live there. To use it, hold the Aquascope with the plastic just under the surface of the water. You don't have to be close up to the Aquascope for it to work either. Now, you can move your Aquascope across the surface of the water to clearly see what's underneath. Have fun exploring!
I love that idea of having a window into another world using just stuff I made. When I went exploring in a park recently, I found this little guy peeking out from a tree trunk. It turns out, painting rocks and hiding them in nature where other people can stumble across them is really fun. And it's a really cool activity you can do yourself.
Welcome to another MakerFun activity. I'm Lennon. Today we're going to be talking about rocks that we found on side of the trail. Here's the first rock. This one we found on the side of a trail and it says, be to change or believe. This is another one we found at the beach. A wave. And it says a message on the back, but I don't know how to spell that. And this one came from almost all the way across the world. These are very special to me because we found them all at different places. And I wanted to share a message to change the world. What better way to change the world? Let's spread the messages of the United Nations SDGs. Kindness rocks meets changing the world. What will you paint? The bumblebee means be to shame. The wave means keep your waves safe. Paint rock however you want and hide them. And spread messages of how to change the world. And that's how we stay brilliant. What are you going to paint and share with us? Word to you from We're Gonna Make Change! Yay!
I need to keep my eyes out for more little painted friends when I go for walks. Even if you can't get out for a walk in nature, you can still enjoy ecosystems right on your windowsill. Check out the ways you can use your balcony or your windowsill to get in touch with these ecosystems.
What if you only have access to the balcony most of the day? How could you take fully advantage of what nature has to offer? How could you take care of nature? Well, the first step is to step outside. Look around. What do you see? What does it smell like? Maybe there are some insects on your balcony. No? You can't find anything? What would attract insects or birds? Well done! Planting a small garden on the balcony is a great way to take care of Earth. It will bring you fresh fruits or vegetables, give food to pollinators like bees, and even filter the air you breathe. It doesn't attract insects fast enough? Oh, what a great idea! Insects are attracted to sugar. You could also make a colibri or butterfly feeder. know! The first balcony insect has been found, and you girls made a great habitat to observe it for a moment. Great job! What is it? Can you describe it? Let's research in a book or on a tablet or computer. You have learned so much about a new species. That's amazing! Why not write or draw what you would like to remember in your exploration journal? Don't forget to take good care and water your plants every day. Oh, well, you were all heading to the bathtub anyway.
We depend on all kinds of ecosystems, and we have a responsibility to take care of them. We take a lot of things from the earth, and we have to do our best to give back and make sure it's protected. Thank you so much for coming along on this journey. Please share what you've been making and what you've been exploring with us. You can find all our social media at brilliantlabs.ca, or you can send us something in the mail. We'd love to share it. Thanks so much for all of these people for being in the show or working on the show, and especially thanks to you for joining us. Stay brilliant. I'll see you next time.